Welcome to the March meeting of the Alliance of Delray. Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a lot of distinguished guests here today. So we have Executive Vice President Arnie Katz to come up here and just welcome everybody there. These are everybody who's here who's a distinguished guest who is not going to be speaking. Otherwise, they'll be speaking.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome. Let's hold our applause for all of the following guests until I'm done reading. Thank you. Lauren Klemowich, Supervisor of Elections Office. Colleen Beamer from the Clerk's Office. Victoria Green from the Tax Collector's Office. Ed Saul from Commissioner Maria Sachs' office. Howie Zimmerman and Roger Michaud, both from Palm Beach County Property Appraiser's Office. Lieutenant John Wink, PBSO. Jessica Barncolor, PBSO. Caitlin Joyce from Commissioner Woodward's office. Tisha Buttle from Lois Frankel's office. Good, here goes my mouth again. Tony Keeler, Palm Beach County Fire Rescue and Paramedics. Chris Keene, PBSO, Major Chris Keene. Leslie Schreiber from PBSO. Deputy Jim Martinez, PBSO. And Evelyn DePlacy from Senator Lori Berman's office. Thank you all for being here. Good morning.
Great. I have a few announcements here. It's dues collection time, so please if you haven't yet sent in the dues, send in the dues. And the most importantly is the updated membership contact, so you can receive all that great information we send out on the email, and also you get hard copies if you're a delegate, president, or alternate. And the next month, big meeting, planning, zoning, and building will be here. All three. We have a lot of information from all three of those areas of the county. Marcy Woodward, our commissioner, District 4 commissioner, is having a meeting April 2nd, and it is about the Milani Park community meeting. And it's important that people from Delray Beach go there. This is about a proposed park. It's a beach park, county park, and it's going to be very close to us. It's another one that you'll be able to go to, and there'll be more parking there, and it's in Highland Beach, but it is a county park. So that meeting is about the proposed Milani Park, and it is actually planned, and it's progressing as planned. They're going to talk about that. April 2nd, 6 o'clock, right here. We send that out on email as well. The one other thing important that Joe Abruzzo, our Palm Beach County Clerk and Comptroller, asked me to announce this week, but also they're going to allow it for next week. The Green Light, Operation Green Light. It's if you've got any overdue tickets or court fines, or you know anybody who has that, the collection agency fees will be waived for this month, this week, and if you can't get there next week, it'll be accepted as well. Okay. The other thing is June breakfast. Remember, so if your dues are paid up, we got a terrific June breakfast the first Friday in June at a local country club, and you know the usual one we use, and it'll probably be there. Okay, but keep that date open. And just one important thing, this is the biggest thing since the proposed GL land swap. Remember a couple of years ago that we actually did defeat. It wasn't really right to swap land from up north to the Ag Reserve and back and forth, and that was voted against by the commissioners, and we succeeded with that, but we have a new one. Our county tax collector has purchased a land in the Agricultural Reserve, and without anybody knowing about it, it was just done our commissioners, our local residents, no one really knew about the land being purchased, so she did have a meeting this past Friday, which was attended to by our leadership of the Alliance, and pursuant to that, we've started an ad hoc committee, which is comprised of York Freund right here. Raise your hand, right? Jack Kay. York is the treasurer of the bridges. Jack Kay is from 7 Bridges. And we've got Rob Cascaden, who's just not here today, he's on our board. And he's from the east side of the Turnpike. These 2 are from the Agricultural Reserve. And that committee is working to ask you all to send letters, to provide support, to possibly move this office, this proposed office. They can, there is ability to swap land within Palm Beach County among, if the commissioners want to, they can. And there's land behind the West Boca Library that can be used, possibly. Maybe it can go there, a tax collector's office, but on Lyons Road, if anybody's gone there, they know they go to the marketplace. It's a tremendously busy area, and it's really no place for a huge office. It's almost the entire 4.39 acres is totally built. We've seen those plans, and 5 or 6 years ago, the county commissioners adopted a resolution saying that if everybody knows, next to the Turnpike and Atlantic Avenue, there's an 8-acre piece of land there. It went with Tuscany and with the GL project. In that resolution, because we were so concerned that we didn't want a motor vehicle agency put there, that's one thing we didn't want, but there are things that aren't good necessarily for the people, for traffic and all. So there's a resolution that states they have to come to the Alliance to tell us about any proposed project. And if there's a problem with it, it'll go on a public agenda. And that's very good to protect us all. Sometimes things don't have to go on a public agenda. But this is something that would go if we get the notice out to our people that there's something going there, say, and if there is opposition, we let them know about it. That was a resolution created and passed a few years ago. That's for the corner of Atlantic and the Turnpike. What does that show? It shows that the Board of County Commissioners knows the Alliance has its finger on the pulse of the West Delray area. So we do. So, but the tax collector she said, I didn't have to ask anybody. And she didn't. She just went out and bought the property. But we do have problems with it, and there is a letter campaign. And if you would like to contribute to that letter campaign, writing campaign, to help our communities along Lyons Road that will be mostly affected by this, York right here will take your name and your email address, and he'll send you a copy of the letter that's been circulating as an example to send around. Okay, that's enough about that. It will be on the April 3rd zoning agenda, this issue, this zoning change to public ownership. That's what she is going through, an application to change the zoning from agriculture to public ownership. And with public ownership, there is no limitation of the size of anything has to be, and there's, with a zoning of public ownership, and there's no limitation on the width of setbacks. So this is something that's unprecedented in the Agricultural Reserve, because there's many more setbacks in the Ag Reserve, and also we are concerned about it, and we will just agree to disagree on certain things, and we encourage our communities just to let the Board of County Commissioners know what they think. Okay, and we will now go on to pleasant things. Our fire rescue, we have Chief Bill Stansberry, and he's going to give us an update.
Hello everybody, thank you for letting me be here today. So just a brief update on fire rescue. Our call volume is starting to get a tail down a little bit. Generally it goes through about April, then all the snowbirds are finally gone, so the summer months are the slowest. We're right a little over 3,000 calls per month. We have 9 stations in the area. The new station is a trailer out on Flavor Picked and Lyons. That is building a full station that should be ready sometime this summer. And the busiest station in this area is Station 45 right there on Linson and Jog. They run over 600 calls a month. So they're very busy. We got multiple rescues there, so we're ready to respond and be there for y'all. Not so much fire rescue related. The school right there, American Heritage, which is in the area, my son goes there. His team just won the soccer state championship. A very great run. They won 5-0 in the playoffs. They were up in DeLand, Florida last week. They won the state championship, so it was very exciting to watch my son do that his senior year. And right now everything is pretty slow, so I just enjoy the non-hurricane seasons. Maybe start to grab some supplies as it gets closer to June, so you don't have to fight with all the people that are grabbing everything last minute. Anyway, have a good day, and we'll talk to you later.
Okay, thank you. We do have Lake Worth Drainage District here today. Miles Osborne would like to just give you a little bit of information, and he is the representative from Lake Worth Drainage District.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I just want to kind of bring up 2 things. The first thing is, now is possibly the best. Can you hear me better now? Yes. Perfect. Now is probably the best time before the hurricane season for HOAs and property managers to start looking into your internal drainage structure to make sure that it is clear. Can you hear me now? Perfect. Now is the best and most appropriate time before hurricane season to start looking into your drainage infrastructure, to make sure that it is ready for hurricane season, because that's only a month and a half, 2 months away. So it is of utmost importance while it is in the dry season that you do take care of that. Also, we are still available to meet with different HOAs if you need any further information. So please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Great. Good to get ahead of the curve with that. May is going to be an interesting meeting for us too, because it is going to be about hurricane season. We haven't had a hurricane sort of meeting in a couple of years. But now is the time we really need to get back that. We'll have our Emergency Operations Center probably be here, and a little bit from Lake Worth Drainage District. So that'll be for May. So, and then of course the June breakfast, we always have a terrific presentation from our local hospital. We usually have a commercial at this time, but it seems that everybody is sick there in the office at Plastridge. So she couldn't get here today. It's Plastridge Insurance. We thank them very much for today's sponsorship of the breakfast, and we also thank them for not coming and spreading any germs here. Okay. So yes. Well, now on to the most interesting portion of the meeting. Okay, our safety and security seminar. Everybody receives one of these in the mail, right? This month it took exactly 8 days in the post office to get there. That's why they came out a little late. 8 days. It was sent out on February 17th, and it came here on March 1st, something like that. It was really something. But we have today Captain Michael Morales, and he will be great. Yes. He will be running this whole meeting today. Okay? And he'll be presenting all the speakers. Thank you for attending. Hello. There you go.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay. Welcome everybody. It's the PBSO Safety and Security Seminar. I have a couple quick notes, talking points that I want to cover before we actually get started into the agenda. We have limited time restraints here, so I'll go quickly through this. I wanted to mention a couple thankful remarks to Dr. Vinacore, who's been instrumental in organizing today's agenda, and also the Alliance Committee. We appreciate having the opportunity to be the headliner. These are tough to come by, so we're very thankful to have the whole meeting to ourselves. So, also wanted to thank Major Keene, who is here in the back. He's also he's extremely supportive towards District 4 and our staff. He also covers the whole South region. He's supportive in us and accomplishing our mission to serve and protect you, the community. So we're very thankful for that, Major. Partnerships, they're huge, right? Partnerships are huge for creating a safe and a secure community. And we have a very strong one here with PBSO and the Alliance. And what I mean by that is you all are the eyes and ears of the community. So open lines of communication are extremely important. I assure you that we're doing that right. Anybody has an issue, they can either get with Dr. Vinacore. She has my phone number. We have deputies out in the community. They're readily available. It's important to communicate. What are your concerns? We'll address them. The whole goal here is to provide West Delray the safest place to live, and that's our mission. So I asked a favor last month. Does anybody remember what I asked? Anybody? I asked for this room to be filled for seats, right? We wanted as many people as we can here in the South Civic Center to listen to this message, because what it does is it equips us with education and crime prevention tips to help from becoming a victim of a crime. Again, working together to make this place the safest around. So each of you have taken a proactive step to educate yourself, specifically towards crime prevention. The information you'll listen here today will provide you with tips and recommendations on how to avoid becoming a victim of a scam, tips for developing safer driving habits, and an inside look at some of the resources that PBSO has to offer. So with that said, we'll get started with the agenda. Our first speaker today is Sergeant Scott Yoder. He may look familiar. He used to oversee our traffic division here in the South End. Now he's the supervisor of our vehicle homicide unit. So please welcome Scott Yoder.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm not going to stay on stage. I'll walk around a little bit in the front here with you and interact with you. So, good morning. My name is Sergeant Scott Yoder with the Sheriff's Office, Traffic Division. I actually handled motors prior before that, but I also handle vehicle homicide. I assist with the DUI unit and commercial motor vehicle unit. So I'm kind of a little bit of knowledge about everything involved with traffic. I've been in there for almost 20 years now, involved in some type of traffic issues. So I was asked to speak with you all today about the Lyons Road issues and some of the speeding issues, and also about how we gather that data, especially using the traffic trailers. You see those speed trailers out there that demonstrate the speed or show speeds when the vehicles pass by them. So those actually serve two purposes for us. We also collect data. Is the number one reason how we collect data is through y'all, through community involvement. So that's how we get the feedback to the community and say, hey, there's speeders here. We see this stuff going on. Just like if you see something, say something. It's the same thing with the traffic issues. We like to know from the community what you all see. And we get that feedback there, and we take that feedback very seriously to that community. The second reason is we get the data from is either crash data or the physical observations from the deputies themselves after conducting that enforcement. The third is obviously we're going to use those traffic trailers like I talked about before. The fourth way we're going to try to reduce some of those traffic issues is by putting those digital signs out there where you see those things that, please slow down, wear your seatbelt, or, traffic head and so on. We can obviously display a lot of messages and reach out to a lot of people faster that way, because as the traffic's going by, they can see those digital signs. So how do speed trailers work? We collect that data. So you'll see a lot of that data being produced out to the community and saying, hey, we put these speed trailers out, you'll see them being moved around in different parts of the roadway. Those serve two purposes for us. One, it displays the driver and gives them a warning like, hey, you're probably not paying attention, your speed's getting up a little too high, it'll start flashing and so on, and it kind of like warning you, hey, slow down, right? The second is it has cameras and speed measuring devices on there, and we capture how fast the speeds are, and we collect all that data. And it gives us all that data to show and say, hey, at this certain time of the day, or this something, these speeds are occurring, right? So that way we can select our enforcement out there at certain times. We're not putting a deputy out there 24/7, which we can't afford, right? Because we'd rather have them patrolling around your community looking for other crimes, not just speeders, correct? So that way we can say, hey, we're gonna put out our traffic division at this certain time because the amount of speeders going through here are causing traffic issues is really high at this point. So that's where we're gonna deploy our resources at that time instead of having just a shotgun effect and just trying to waste our time and resources. So that kind of explains how the trailers work for you all in that instance. It also helps out the traffic county engineering department because we show them and say, do we need speed bumps in that area? Do we need to redesign the roadway to show that, hey, the speeds are getting way too high, it's too high of an average, and can we reach out to other resources or other developments or other agencies to assist us in how to reduce that traffic issue or to quail it down a little bit. So hopefully that makes a little sense to you all and how those traffic trailers work. We also are deploying our speed and aggressive driving grants. So we have aggressive driving units out there. We have motorcycle division units out there. We're also using our vehicle homicide units to go out there and conduct enforcement on these roadways. Recently, we deployed one down in the Delray area for the speed grants. So that way we can combat those speed issues on Lyons Road, especially with the construction and commercial motor vehicles and so on. So we're trying to shotgun a lot of different sources out there for you all and spread them all around for you. So that way we can tackle all the traffic issues at once instead of just one particular every couple months and then, kind of like forget about the other ones. We're not looking that way. So hopefully that answers all your questions and concerns. I have a very, very small time window to talk to you all about that. So hopefully down in the future I can meet with you one-on-one and we can discuss some of the other future issues. All right? Otherwise, drive safe, everybody. Good luck to you.
I'll stay up here since we're down on the floor. Thank you, Sergeant Yoder. Appreciate that. I reviewed some of the stats for 2024. Can anybody guess how many traffic fatalities we had here in the South region? Give me some numbers.
45.
Close. 46. Way too many. Way too many. No, I don't want to clap for that. It's a horrific thing, but yes. 46. That's way too high. That's just in the South region. So, wanted to share that stat with you. Our next presenter is from our Detective Bureau. We have the whole detective squad over here. We have 4 detectives, 1 detective sergeant. He's going to come up and present some of the trends that are ongoing, some prevention tips as well. And come on up to the stage. Detective Philip Eckes.
I'm gonna go on stage. I'm a little shorter, but I'm just as handsome. All right, y'all can see me now, so, all right.
All right.
So I'm here for crime trends. By show of hands, how many people shop at Costco? Hey, look at that, most of the room. All right, Publix? All right, any other shopping mall center area?
BJ.
I love it, Walmart. All right, perfect. All right, here's what I'm getting at, is that we all go shopping, okay? This is mostly for the ladies, the first part. But this is called, it's distraction thefts, okay? Who all, gets one of the buggies, okay, shopping carts, goes through the store. The purse usually goes up where the grandchildren go, correct? All right. The purse goes there. Oh, need some groceries. Let me just leave the cart. We walk away. We go over, get the groceries. We come back. What, a couple seconds, maybe? In those couple seconds, all right, we're talking about wallets, credit cards, cell phones. The purse itself, gone. Okay. What I mean by that is that sometimes when we're shopping, we need to know that we're not alone. And what I mean by that is you're being watched. Okay. So when it comes to the distraction thefts, all right, there are some people who just target, and the trends show is that it's a lot of times the elderly, okay? It's the older, more innocent, just, oh, nobody's gonna take my purse while I go get some fruits and veggies, or I go get the milk and everything like that, and I leave it alone for a few seconds. Well, and I can show you tape after tape after tape, individuals following you around, just waiting for that opportunity. Oh, going to get it and gone. Okay? And in that time, you're thinking, oh, well, credit cards, just cancel them. How quickly can you then take a credit card and then go use it at either that store, or maybe the store next door, or store up the block, to ring up a couple $100s. You're talking about maybe 5 minutes. So in those 5 minutes, you all of a sudden have a huge headache of having to go through the process of calling your credit card companies, canceling credit cards, and all that. One of those things is, like my captain pointed out, it's all about communication, okay? I'd say there's a healthy bunch of people here, but it's not the entire community, correct? So let's get with our neighbors, let's get with our friends, let's talk on the phone, and let's just pass the word around about distraction thefts. And hey, let's not leave the purses alone. Let's not leave the wallets down. Let's take a little bit more, when we go shopping, we just think about it. Oh, I may not be alone, okay? And maybe just give it a scan or two, because I also have the videos where somebody's walking around and they're scanning and they see somebody and they point them out saying, hey, I see you're walking past me, or you're looking at me, or is everything okay? And those individuals who are doing the targeting leave. All right? So it's one of those, don't obviously get into an argument, but hey, I see you. And it ends the situation. I can go on about more and more crime trends. I can talk about who gets spam calls by a show of hands. There we go. Spam calls, huge, okay? And here's a technique that the criminals are actually using now, are that they're spoofing or they're cloning the sheriff's office phone number. So you think that you're being called by the sheriff's office. Maybe say PBSO, says, PBSO District 4, whatever number they're using. They're cloning that number and they're calling you. And you're thinking, oh, this is innocent, as opposed to spam risk popping up, it says PBSO. Because that's just these apps. They have the ability to do that. All right, so they call you, you answer, and it says, this is Sergeant Jones from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. Do you know you have a warrant? Have you ever heard of that scam before? Yes, all right, that's just one of many, where they then talk you through and they have a whole kind of like agenda that they go checklist, once you answer yes to this and then no to that and everything, they'll go through to get your information so that then they can, either get you to pay them or get credit card and commit some more fraud on your behalf and everything like that, until either it's too late or you then finally contact the real sheriff's office to say, hey, you guys contacted me about a warrant or whatever, a jail bond and like all these different scams and everything. And I don't want to go on and on and on, but just understand that the sheriff's office calling you, okay? In my own personal opinion, I'd hang up the phone immediately and then call the real sheriff's office number and ask, did you guys just call me? Because in all likelihood, we're not going to call you. I'd love to talk to you. You can come talk to me anytime. Come to District 4, we'll have a chat about more crime trends. Because I can go on and on and on. Everyone over there knows it. All right, so I'm Detective Eckes. Thank you. Those are just a couple of crime trends. And yeah, go out there and tell your neighbors, tell your friends all about that so we can get the word out.
All right, nice job. Thank you, Detective. Funny story, what I tell my parents with these spoof calls, it happens all the time. I get them constantly. I tell them, send it to voicemail. They'll leave you a voicemail if it's important, right? So a funny story, when I got promoted a few weeks ago, I met with the sheriff, and Sheriff Bradshaw, and he told me, I'm going to call you directly if I need an answer right away. So I was like, yes, sir, no problem. So now I've been getting spoof calls from the sheriff's office, and I used to forward them to voicemail. Now I have to answer them because I think it's the sheriff, but it hasn't been in yet. So now I have to answer the phone every time. But anyway, a good tip and recommendation is, you don't know the number, you're not familiar with it, shoot it to voicemail. If it's important, they'll leave. Most of the time, these scammers, they don't leave voicemails. All right? So good stuff. Our next presenter is our senior analyst, Tim Aramo. He's going to tell you a little bit about what he does. Very good, interesting stuff that involves technology, crime trends, and he is the guy behind the scenes that crunches all the numbers to help our detective bureau and our road patrol deputies to investigate crimes. Here we go.
Good morning. So as the captain said, I'm usually behind the scenes, but when you're 6.5 feet tall, they find you and they bring you up here on stage. So as the captain said, my name is Tim Aramo. I'm a senior criminal intelligence analyst. I worked at the sheriff's office for 15 years. My current job is I do crime stats and crime support for the West Delray, which is here, as well as the West Boca Raton, which is our District 7 office just south of here. A large part of what I do and my job is to answer questions that come down from the captain or from even higher, because usually he gets that phone call from the sheriff and then he immediately comes to me and says, okay, I need an answer. So I have yet to say no to any question, largely because big part of my job is crime mapping and crime stats. So whenever he comes to me with a question that says, hey, do we know how many of this we've had or how many of this is in this particular area, my job is to figure out the fastest way to get that answer. And a lot of time the fastest way is to consolidate everything into mapping. So how many of you guys know Delray like the back of your hands? You've been here forever. A couple of you. I have been here for like 2 years, so I do not know Delray like the back of my hand. Fortunately, I know data very well. So what we do with the crime mapping is we take the information every time you commit or you report a crime, every time one of our deputies does anything, we get a location data on it and we put it on a map. And that mapping lets me get answers for the sheriff and get answers for my captain as far as what, how many frauds that we have within Kings Point in the last 3 weeks. So there's nothing that I can type into Google that's going to give you that answer, but through my work and through our data, that's a large part of what I do. So moving on from that, onto the trends. As Detective Eck has said, we do have a lot of trends that come through here as far as crimes, usually property crimes. Does anyone know the top 3 crimes we have in the county? What's number 1?
Car theft.
Car theft. That's actually pretty low on the list, thankfully.
Okay.
We've done a lot of good work on that. In the county, the number 1 is battery.
Wow.
And battery is unwanted touching. Basically any unwanted physical contact from one person to another. Now, from what I've seen, in a lot of the cases that I read, the battery comes from 2 people who are usually neighbors or family members, usually people you have to interact with regularly, and they get into a dispute and it escalates until someone gets shoved, and then that other person decides they want to report it because they're not happy. Now, fortunately, very few of these actually result in injuries, but even if you shove somebody, even if you just get mad over a parking spot, you push somebody, that's a crime. And they can actually go to the state attorney's office, they can get a warrant, or if you confess to them on the scene, they can bring you to jail. So, as far as bringing down batteries, we can't do much to stop it or prevent it, but what you guys can do is when you're in a situation where you're feeling angry, you're upset, someone just stole your parking spot, someone did something very wrong to you, remember, as the golden rule is, do unto others as you want them to do unto you, and keep your hands to yourself. I have a 4-year-old, I gotta tell her this all the time, but very serious, guys. From battery, the next one is fraud. And fraud is honestly the number 1 loss of finances in our county. We have people losing more money to fraud than auto theft, than any other crime that we've got, and it's getting even more crazy. So as he said, with these phone calls that they're spoofing the sheriff's office, they're not just spoofing the sheriff's office, they're spoofing your bank. They're calling you from an 800 number that you look in the back of your car, oh, that's the same number. It's because that number is public. They're calling you and saying, hey, there's a problem with your account. I need you to quickly pull all your money out and put it over to this ATM I'm telling you about. And we have people that are losing tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars within a matter of hours because they're doing this. Now, obviously, me talking to you right now, you're like, that sounds ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense. Why would I do that? But when you're on the phone with somebody and they say, hey, you're about to lose your life savings if you do not listen to me, or they claim to be, this is Special Agent so-and-so with the FEC, or I'm with the FBI, all of a sudden these things start making a bit more sense to you because we're not thinking we're acting rationally. So just like with battery, the main prevention is to stop and think. They want you emotional. They want you to think that you're about to lose everything. So stop, think, and work it out. And as he says, if you're worried that the person you're talking to may not be who they claim to be, hang up the phone, call that number separately. Now, if I ask you to call your bank, where are you going to get the phone number?
Back of your car.
Back of your car. Excellent. That's a great place to go. Unfortunately, right now, a lot of people are going to Google. They're going to Google and they're saying, hey, what's the number to, Chase Bank? What's the number to HP? My printer is not working and I'm really mad about it. What's the number to Microsoft? The issue with Google is they need to make money. And the way they make money is through advertisements, and they don't vet the people who are advertising on them. So that first number that pops up, that's an advertisement. Now, if I'm a bad guy, and I want to steal money from Delray, I can spend a few $100s and put my phone number up there as Google. Or put my phone number up there as your bank, or as Amazon, or as HP. When you call that number, now you think you're talking to someone legitimate, but you're talking to me, not really me. But you're talking to the bad guy who's now going to trick you into moving your money, who's going to convince you of this big scheme that's coming after you and how you need to wire money to fix everything. Again, be very cautious. When you search for a number or anything else on Google, don't just take the one from Google. I know it's 4 extra clicks, that's a lot of work, but really go to the website, the actual website of the place that you're looking for, and either look for the contact us form or look for a number that's on the web page. Don't just trust Google. Now, the other one that's really taking a lot of money from people is investment scams. Everyone knows the romance scam, right? That really pretty girl that friends you on Facebook and really needs some money, or the really handsome captain from the sheriff's office who just really needs a little bit of money right now. Well, all those people are starting to realize that those romance scams, people are getting wise to, so they're moving on to investment scams. Now it's gone from, I need you to send me money to get from Dubai or get from wherever I'm at, to, hey, I just made 10 million in Bitcoin and I want to help you. So that sounds good. How many of us have enough money? I don't know why my hand's up, I don't have enough money, but none of us have enough money. So all of us, when you hear that, you're like, man, I would like to make a few million, I'd like to double my money, I'd like to make extra money. But going through that process, it's the same thing they do with the romance scams. They become friendly with you, they chat with you for a few days, they take their time, and then they hit you. Hey, how would you like to make extra money? How would you like to double your savings? All of that is going to be a scam, especially when they start talking about cryptocurrency. How many of you guys are cryptocurrency experts? You know all about Bitcoin, Ethereum? Me neither, I don't like it. But I had to study it for my job. The thing about cryptocurrency is, if you put your money into the site that they give you, that's basically going to them. They can create websites that show that you own all this cryptocurrency, you don't actually have anything. It's all fake. They've got your money, they're going to try to get you to give them more money, and then by the time you start getting wise, they delete everything, and all your money is somewhere where we can't even get it back for you. So talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors, talk to your loved ones. Make sure they know that these scams are around. If something sounds too good, even if it's from that really pretty lady on Facebook, it's probably a scam. So we do have some efforts that we've gone through lately to try to combat a lot of this crime in the county. One of the things that we do, as far as what you mentioned with auto thefts, is air tags, GPS units. These things are really cheap and they have helped us immensely. Why? Because a lot of the cars that you guys buy, or a lot of cars that people buy, especially nowadays that are higher end, have GPS units. The problem is, if I'm a bad guy who steals cars, I know where that is. I go right into it. As soon as I take your car, I pull out the GPS, and now I'm driving down to Miami, I'm driving up to Georgia, I'm driving wherever I'm going to take the stolen car. But if you have air tags, especially 2 or 3 hidden in the car, that's a lot harder for me to find. It makes it a lot easier for us to get your car back, makes it a lot less stressful for you, and it's not very much money. They're like 25 bucks a pop. Other things that we do now, LPRs. So license plate readers are located in several points in the county. They're also all over the place in Broward County, Miami-Dade County. Those help us tremendously as well because we're able to use those to locate your tag. Or if we get a vehicle and you don't know the tag number, you just saw that blue car in the distance before your car was stolen, we're able to go through, backtrack, and say, hey, how many blue cars came through this LPR, and try to locate your vehicle. The final way that we've been really advancing our technological knowledge here in the Sheriff's Office and trying to advance how we work is through facial recognition. And this is the one that gets a lot of people on either side kind of sketchy about it. But I'll put it to you this way. We are not putting up cameras, tracking everyone's movements, tracking anyone's faces that way. The facial recognition that we use is so we can go through all of the booking photos from us, from other counties, as well as through any state database of photos. So when we get a picture of the guy who stole your wallet in Publix, Phil brings it to me, I go into the system and we say, hey, has this guy been arrested before? Because usually they have. A lot of times the people that are doing that are professionals. This is their job. They do it day in and day out. And how do you become a professional criminal? You do it a long time. By doing it a long time, you're likely to get arrested at least once or twice. So this makes it easier for us to solve these cases, us to try to put someone in jail and try to prevent them from coming back into our community. So to give you an idea, we recently did a security directors meeting for auto thefts. And we employed all of these different tactics, as well as working with our community partners, with security guards, with people that are out there, to not only harden the targets, make sure you take your key fobs out of the car, make sure that you're not leaving the car unattended or somewhere in the middle of the parking lot where no one's going to see it. And we were able to actually reduce from our gated communities auto thefts by 50% year over year. So this is the kind of partnership that we have, and this is the kind of partnership that we want to foster. We want to bring down all these other crimes too. All of our retail thefts we want to bring down, all of our frauds, all the ones that victimize you and make your lives harder. So very much, if you guys can work with us, tell your friends, tell your community members about all these different schemes. And if you have questions, please give us a call. We'll be happy to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Excuse me, what was your name again?
Tim Aramo,
Ramo? Thank you.
District 4.
Tim, very good. We needed an hour for him. He's got so much information that's useful for the public. Good job, Tim. We appreciate you coming out. Our next and last presenter, he's from a threat assessment unit. His name is Deputy Scotty Porras. He does really good work. He's going to give you an overview of the unit and the services that the unit offers the community. So, Scotty, come on up. He's going on the floor. Here we go.
Thank you, Captain Ross. Phil, afterwards, I need to get with you, find out who your hairstylist is. Right now, currently, Tim and I have the same barber, so I want to go for a different look. How's everybody doing today? Like Captain Ross said, I am Scott Ports. I'm with our threat assessment unit. So, what we're not the thread assessment. We don't specialize in needlepoint or any kind of sewing. What we're not is behavioral services. And we get confused because the term threat assessment commingles with behavioral services and what we do on the structure side of things. So we're going to bring this down a little bit. I got told I have 2 minutes in hopes that I would be done in 15. So we gotta stick with that. So, can I get everybody first in here to take a deep breath? All right. This can be very overwhelming. Crime prevention is a wonderful tool. Every single person in here has knowledge of crime prevention, but as we get older sometimes, it's not in our realm of, let's say, the understanding the latest technologies. Apple AirTag. Great tool. Couldn't tell you how it works. So I'm in the same boat. But with that said is, information highway is out there. Knowledge. When you're hearing terminology and things you're not quite sure of, go ahead and look it up. Ask your experts. Reach out to your community leaders. We're in this together. And I want to thank you guys for being as proactive as you are in West Delray. It is overwhelmingly exciting for me, especially since I have a very vested interest. I have a lot of family members in these developments here that are represented today. So, first of all, give yourselves a round of applause. You guys are on the forefront of taking care of the community, and that is extremely important. So now we're going to get to what the threat assessment unit is. And we're a relatively newer unit. We have taken crime prevention and CPTED. And CPTED is crime prevention through environmental design, and we have fused it with infrastructure. So we have the basic concepts that we still use in crime prevention, but now we're using it for infrastructure mitigation. And what does that mean? It's simply what you can do to structure your home or structure your business, a house of worship, to lessen the chance of being a victim of a crime. I'll give you a basic example here today. How many people in here have alarm systems? Quite a few, okay? How many people in here are afraid of that third false alarm and you're gonna have to make a donation to Palm Beach County because you're gonna have to pay a $25 or $50 fine? We have people that do that. They'll cancel their alarm. You pay for a service, utilize it. We've had instances where somebody has canceled their alarm and instead of it being a $25 fine because it would have been their third, it was a $25,000 oopsie. Their home was broken into, but they were more concerned about that fine because it might have been a false alarm. So utilizing your tools that you have. If you have hurricane windows, it's great for storm season, but it's also good for burglary season. Very difficult to break a hurricane window. So it has a double thing there. If you have cameras, cameras are a great tool and they assist our detectives. So it's layers. In my unit, we teach and we discuss layers. Layers of crime prevention. What you can do to lessen your chances of becoming a victim. Now, we're doing some really nice stuff right now. We're working with the county on the infrastructure for all the water treatment plants in the county. So we're hitting some pretty high-end stuff. But we haven't forgotten our roots, and we still assist the community. We do lectures on CRAZE. Crime prevention is civilian response to active shooters. We also oversee our CPL program, and that's our crime prevention liaison program, where it is, I'm gonna model you off. So today here, walking down the red carpet, your name, sir?
Deputy James Martinez.
Thank you, Deputy James Martinez. Can you please tell me what a crime prevention liaison is?
Not in the allotted time that we have, but I put out small fires before they become big fires. So if you guys need anything, most of your property managers have my contact. A lot of you guys in here know me, so just reach out to your property managers. They can get a hold of me. We can discuss any problems.
So this is one of our examples of crime prevention liaison, and we teach them and they continue their knowledge on different crime prevention methods, and we have them sprinkled throughout the county so we have a better connection with you guys. Our unit itself, we have a very strong connection, but we're not able to get out within the basic communities as often as we would like to, so we created the Crime Prevention Liaison Program, and that takes care of keeping our citizens safe, providing knowledge, education, and like he said, putting out small fires. What it comes down to, it's quality of life. They are our quality of life representatives, and they work with you to make West Delray or anywhere here in Palm Beach County better. So let's go back to the threat assessment side. When you guys go into any public building, what are some of the first things that you should be looking for?
Exits.
Wow. You guys been through our program before? Exactly, exits, okay? It's very important when you go into a building, know where your other exits are. So if something was to be occurring at the door right over there, where would you escape to? Right over there. If you were in a restaurant, know where your exits are. Know that if something was to happen at the front door, most restaurants have a service entrance in the kitchen. And that's another way for you to exit. Right? So when we talk about exits, that's things that we're going to look at as far as the type of doors, the type of structure around it, whether it is a solid wood core door, can it take any kind of explosive, can it take any kind of gunfire. So that's one of the things that we do within the threat assessment unit as well, is we make suggestions to houses of worships, government facilities, communities on what you can do, again, to lessen your crime. Crime prevention can be scary sometimes. We don't want you to live in a bubble, but what we do want you to do is protect yourselves. All right, and I'll give you an example, and I keep referring back to the crime prevention side of things. That's where it begins, it's where it starts. So I'll give you guys an example. You guys are on a date. You went to go to a movie. What movie that is, it's your choice. It could be an hour and a half long, it could be 2 hours long, 3 hours long. You're parked at the movie theater. Your car is there. So what happens if we potentially left our car unlocked? Is there information in that car that a burglar might want? Is your registration in the car? Your address? What about garage clickers? So they know that you are at the movies, you're in a very nice date, but now they have your address and they have your garage clicker and they know that you're going to be busy, okay? But you, being a very aware and alert person, always locks the inside door from your garage to the house. Prevention. You have an alarm system. You utilize it. Prevention. You have nosy neighbors. God, I love nosy neighbors. Right there, that's better than alarm, that's prevention. So as you can see, yes, that moment could be scary that you have information in your car and now this person might have access to your car, but you've taken some of the basic foundations of crime prevention in preventing that person from being able to enter your home. So, like one of the detectives said before, or I think it was Tim, you know, take a deep breath. It's not the end of the world, all right? These things happen. Do we want them to happen? No. But this is also where you guys come in as an alliance here, and you guys are fighting for your community to make it safer. You have the sheriff's office here at your fingertips. This is very nice and unique. Not every community has this. So as you guys get further into your business of taking care of your communities, take a bigger picture look on what you can do to layer your communities. Do you have gates at the front of the community? They're nice. They look nice. Do they always work? They don't always work. Do you have cameras in the front of your community? So now you are capturing the moments. Are you part of the LPR system, which is a license plate reader system? Yes. So it's another layer of crime prevention. Do you have a neighborhood watch? Neighborhood watches are great. They incorporate the nosy neighbor. Again, my best friend is a nosy neighbor. Neighborhood watches are good. Studies have found that criminals, they do see these signs, and a lot of times they will go elsewhere. Why are they going to go elsewhere? Because they don't want to be noticed. They don't want a community that's active. Is it foolproof? Not 100%. But again, everything that we do is in layers. So as you guys are moving through and making decisions on what you can do for your community, to what we like to say, target harden, reach out to your substation here. Ask questions. Do you think this might be a good idea? Do you think if we move something around as far as the times our clubhouse is open?
Okay,
or
I added that to the task list.
You're adding that to your task list? You know, if you're finding that you're having some issues in your clubhouse at, let's say, the evening hours because you guys have had one too many martinis, you know, take it down an hour. So you have the ability to adjust these things. But again, ask questions. With asking questions, that's where you guys gain your knowledge. I am actually going to take a few questions here. Do I have a couple minutes? All right. You look like you've had a question
Yes,
from the moment I've come up here, so hold on one second.
Yeah, I'll get the microphone here, extra microphone, and we'll go to the person. Sure.
This is my Vanna White right here.
Yeah, the gentleman over there, the 6.5 foot tall.
Yes.
He mentioned something about AirTag for the cars when the GPS is removed. What is that? What's?
So an AirTag is basically, I'm gonna, come on up here.
So the AirTag, as I was talking about, yeah, this is an AirTag. Very small. Apple makes them. There's a lot of different competitors that make different versions of them. What they are is basically they communicate via Bluetooth over anybody's phone, and they tell you what their current location is. This is great. As you see, I got it on my keys. I used to lose my keys at least 2-3 times a year. Now I don't lose them anymore. If you have a couple of these in your car, and that car drives by anybody with a cell phone, that's going to tell you where your car is. So just ideas, different things, as you said, adding layers, making it less likely that your car is going to disappear and you're never going to know about it.
It's great for kids. You just put them on and you don't have to worry if you lose them. It's perfect.
And luggage in airports.
Luggage in airports, absolutely. Do I have time for a couple more questions? Okay.
I just wanted to share with everyone here and show you there are these RFID, which is protection wallets for men and women, and this protects your ID when you're walking around. Since it came out, I've never stopped using them. And you can also, for the ladies, pocketbooks, because we carry the kitchen sink. They can't scan your information with these wallets and pocketbooks.
That is an excellent crime prevention tool. So she's high-level Secret Service intelligence analyst right here. So she's got the in on everything. But yes, for those that don't know, they make products out there that will protect your credit cards and your driver's license information. Because all these cards these days, they have information for everything. And it's a layer. So you know how we wear our bulletproof vests to be able to prevent ammunition from going through? These are basically the bulletproof vests for your IDs, for your credit cards, to help reduce scams. Do we have any other questions? We got a question back there. You're getting your cardio in today.
Getting my steps in today.
I just want to thank all you guys for coming here today, giving this presentation, and I also want to thank the Sheriff's Department for offering to all of us the services of the COP. I'm a member of the COP Unit 5, and I cannot say enough of what we do to help out, looking over and observing any kind of crime that might happen in not just your community, but also in the shopping centers. So thank you for making this available to us. Please join your local unit. We need you.
You have to remember, we're not just law enforcement in the room. Most of us are also Palm Beach County residents, so we have a very vested interest in keeping our own community safe. So, as we are working with you, just remember that as well. We're going to do everything that we possibly are able to do to assist you, because overall it helps everybody within the community. We have a question right here, yes.
What is the distance on the air tags?
Tim? Distance on the air tags?
Repeat the question.
The distance on the AirTag is, I think, about 20-25 feet. It's Bluetooth low energy, so it's a longer range than like the Bluetooth on your headphones, but it's really low frequency. So generally you have to drive by someone with a cell phone. If you're on the street and you drive by someone else that's got a phone in their pocket, you're close enough that it's going to detect it.
So those of you that didn't hear the question, just want to know how far of a distance that the air tags reach. So, yes, sir.
You can track your luggage in another country with the AirTags.
If there's a Wi-Fi link, absolutely. Absolutely. Did you guys hear him? You can check your luggage in another country.
I have one final question that I just asked here, and she's going to answer. It's about the mapping.
So she had asked me about crime mapping. Where can you get access to this data? So there's a public tool called crimemapping.com. You can go on that and publicly see the crime maps that we've released. out. If you need specific information beyond what's there on the public side, you can reach out to Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office Central Records and make a records request. They actually have an online portal that makes it very easy, and the records unit will contact through the analyst side and we'll get you those more specific data. But crimemapping.com, you can look on there and see general crimes within your area, and you can zoom out, zoom in to see where they've been reported and get different time frames.
All right, thanks, Scott. We appreciate that. So I want everybody to know the threat assessment unit, that's just a small speck of the resources that Sheriff Bradshaw has instituted into the Sheriff's Office as resources for the community. Just a small speck. So we have many other units and things that benefit the community, but so thank you for coming along. And let's give it up, please, because the presenters here today, they got to get back to work. So they're very busy. We thank them for taking the time out and sharing some insightful information that we can all benefit from. Also wanted to thank Lieutenant Wink. He's standing over there. He thought he was going to get away without being mentioned. He put this agenda together. He did a great job. Thank you, Lieutenant Wink. So in closing, we talked about a few things, partnerships, right, between us and you guys. It's very important. Communication, we got that. We're doing a good job with that. We could always do better, okay? We thank you for allowing us to serve and protect you guys and making West Delray a safe place to live, okay? Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Captain Morales and everyone. Great, great program, and we'll see you next month. Planning, zoning, and building. We'll learn a little bit about each one next month. It'll help our communities. So long. Have a terrific month.